Okay, we need a bit of a breather. There are a number of conversations that we can have about the Vancouver Canucks and where they go from here post Ottawa Senators Brady Tkachuk trade. There are a number of angles that we can take. Hey, do the Senators make a pitch for Elias Pettersson now? Can they get Jake DeBrusk as a replacement for Brady Tkachuk? Because, not saying they're the same caliber of player, but the Sens kinda need a winger, and the Vancouver Canucks, if they end up getting either the 9th overall pick or the 25th overall pick, it would do them very, very well. 24 and 25. Sounds like a potential Ruck twin acquisition. But anyways, other than that, I wanted to focus on Vancouver's own 3rd overall pick, because, courtesy of David Pagnotta on the 4th period, we have ourselves some updates in regards to the Canucks and Caleb Malhotra. It's all on his latest article posted on the 4th period earlier this morning. Mason Marchment and Jaden Schwartz are among those going to market. No wonder the Seattle Kraken went out there and acquired Mackie Samoskevich. Anyways, scrolling down into this piece, past all the Seattle Kraken stuff, and into the here and there section of the article, not only are there updates on the Edmonton Oilers and Mike Babcock, the Edmonton Oilers and signing Jason Dickinson, but you also have this update from Pagnotta. I am not expecting the Vancouver Canucks to select Caleb Malhotra with the 3rd overall pick, if he is available. And you know what? I hate to talk about a young 18-year-old like this. I hate to talk about a guy who has yet to establish himself professionally like this. But that's music to my ears, baby. Thank goodness the Vancouver Canucks are not going to draft Caleb Malhotra. I can play it up nice. I can sit here and say all the proper things. I was media trained. I went to BCIT. I've got my radio diploma. I can go to a station. I can work if I wanted to. Now, whether or not anybody would hire me, that's another issue. But we know that talking about Caleb Malhotra as a Vancouver Canucks prospect to be is the diplomatic thing to do, because the coach is his dad. There was this element of Vancouver drafting positionally that a lot of people were spooked out by. And then there were those that fed into the conversation on Malhotra being a potential top-line center and a player that was worthy of being drafted 2nd overall by Cam Robinson on his list, a guy that should have been ranked 3rd overall by Jason Bukala. However, I think for Caleb Malhotra, there was always going to be a question from fans like myself and other people that I've seen all over as to whether or not Caleb Malhotra actually had the upper ceiling that some of these other players available at 3rd overall had. I mean, you go over to the consolidated ranking, you take a look at it. Okay, Gavin McKenna and Ivar Stenberg, 2 guys with sky-high ceilings. Stenberg could be a consistent 80-plus point per season winger, whilst providing some very solid defensive qualities. Gavin McKenna can be a 90-point-ish playmaker if everything goes right. Think of a Patrick Kane, think of a Nikita Kucherov. These guys have elite ceilings. Chase Reed, say what you want about his production being lower than normal. He was outscoring a ton of defensemen at the OHL level when you compare eras in the Ontario Hockey League. The only guys that produced more than Chase Reed were Matthew Schaefer and Evan Bouchard. All those other dudes in the OHL coming through to defense corps, Chase Reed, over the past few years, has been more productive than. Keaton Verhoff still has top 2 ceiling potential, and he was a guy that was projected as a 1st overall caliber player as far back as November-October. He belongs in this conversation. Viggo Bjork is a player that, when you think about centers who have that tenacity, that skill, he not only set one of the records for junior scoring in the Swedish league, but he also went out there and produced really well with Ivar Stenberg at the World Championships. Viggo Bjork is more of a Braden Point, Nick Suzuki type. Caleb Malhotra, on the other hand, based off of what we had seen in the OHL and his late season resurgence, I think a lot of Canucks fans have tossed out names like Bo Horvat when comparing Caleb Malhotra to NHL caliber players. Sure, a Bo Horvat is a fine player. He's a really good leader, and he's somebody that you can rally your team behind. If, best case scenario, he is exactly Bo Horvat 2.0, then he is captain material. He is a player that scores some clutch goals. He gets some really good points up there on the board. But is he as good as a Braden Point or a Nick Suzuki? I think you would rather take the latter 7 out of 10 times over a Bo Horvat caliber asset. And that is just, putting these players into a box, not really talking about them individually, just talking about what they project to be. And the easiest way to do that in a way that other people can understand is the language of comparables. And that seems to be one of the biggest ones that we had been speaking about for Caleb Malhotra and Viggo Bjork. Meanwhile, Carson Karels is also in this range as well. He is the consolidated ranked 6th overall prospect, and word is this guy could actually go a lot higher than any of us have really anticipated. Craig Button has Karels at 3. Cam Robinson has Karels at 4. Cam Robinson also said that he wouldn't be surprised if Karels went 3, potentially to the Vancouver Canucks. And I find it interesting how a lot of Canucks fans would say, oh, well, Chase Reed is right there. Keaton Verhoff is right there. These guys are right-handed defensemen. Don't take Karels. He's a left-handed defenseman. And my immediate response to that is, hey, wait a minute. Wasn't there just a really big push from Canucks fans? Hey, don't take Caleb Malhotra at 3rd because he's a center. That would be drafting for position rather than drafting for best player available. Is that not the same thing with Chase Reed and Keaton Verhoff? If your only argument is, well, don't take Karels over Reed or Verhoff because Karels is a left-handed defenseman. The other 2 guys are right. Therefore, they should be taken and placed above. That's the thing. If Carson Karels is genuinely that good, if he is better than Chase Reed or Keaton Verhoff, and in the eyes of many scouts it seems like he is, then you gotta take him. That's it. He's the highest ceiling guy available, if that is what you believe. If you believe they're equal, okay, if you think that Chase Reed, Keaton Verhoff, and Karels are all in a similar territory, then okay. Go ahead, take the guy who is right-handed instead, draft for position, because objectively it's more difficult to find right-handed defensemen than left-handed defensemen, especially ones that are good. But to those thinking hey, the Canucks already have Zeev Buium, therefore they don't need Carson Karels, it's kind of the same argument that Canucks fans are saying, oh, hey, well, they don't have a center. They got Braden Coots. Is he a number 1 center? I don't know, so just draft Caleb Malhotra. It's the same thing. Don't discredit the positional needs of one draft pick just so you can bring it up and proclaim it onto another draft pick, or have it influence another decision. Just take the best player available, which is why if Gavin McKenna and Stenberg go 1 and 2, I would honestly be fine with any of the Reeds or the Karelses or even the Viggo Bjorks. I would be uncomfortable with Malholtra, not because he is the son of the coach. I think that's part of it, but also because I just don't know if he has the upper ceiling necessary to be taken 3rd overall. I don't know, you take a look at some of these 3rd overall picks in NHL drafts in prior years, I'm thinking of okay, sure, you can get a Jonathan Toews or whatever in the 3rd overall spot. You can get, I don't know, Nathan Horton. No, that guy was a winger. You can get some guys that are genuinely valuable 3rd overall, but you have to hit. This is the top of the draft we're talking about. The Vancouver Canucks are entering a rebuild. They can't have any room for doubt. Oh yeah, Jonathan Toews did go 3rd overall. You can get a guy that's that good, but is it guaranteed that Caleb Malhotra comes into the NHL and puts up 900 points and wins 3 Stanley Cups and multiple awards? I don't know. I really don't know. For every Jonathan Toews you get at 3rd, there's also a Kyle Turris. And with that said, I would much rather say Caleb Malhotra is more of a late 10s draft pick caliber guy rather than a top 3. The positional need for Vancouver seemed so strong, and it seemed like Alvin and Rutherford really liked this guy. But now, David Pagnotta's report is that he doesn't think the Canucks are going to draft him. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about this update? Caleb Malhotra to some other team. I hope you enjoyed this video. And bye.